All right, Andrew, we are going, I think.
Sounds good.
Test. Yeah, we're going. How's life, man?
Good, real good.
Yeah?
Enjoying being home on the East Coast. With the travel schedule these days, I don't get to spend a lot of time here. So, yeah, just enjoying it.
But at the same time, you probably love you get to travel the world and do what you do, man.
Totally.
That's the dream.
That's the dream. But, I mean, yeah, home is home. And, yeah, you can't beat that.
It makes you appreciate home so much more when you travel the world. Like when you come home, it's almost like a vacation when you come back here, just seeing your friends and family.
Yeah.
I noticed that in the past. It's almost rejuvenating.
Yeah, totally. It's, there's it's always busy when we get home just because we spend so little time. But I mean, I just kind of do my best with it and try to see as many people as I can and enjoy it. It's all good.
So, man, how did you get involved in this? Growing up in Canada, it's either hockey or curling.
Yeah.
How did mountain biking, or should I say mountain biking?
Yeah, mountain biking.
Mountain biking. How did you get involved in this?
Well, I mean, we certainly weren't like a hockey family. I have 3 older brothers. We played lots of different sports, but more, none of it was hockey. Kind of soccer, volleyball, those sorts of things. But my older brother, he bike raced a little bit, and as a family we always rode bikes together. So going to a cottage in the summer, we'd bring our bikes, and that'd just be like a family activity. I looked up to my brother like most brothers do, and I kind of wanted to be like him. So if he bike raced, so I really wanted to do that. And I did my first race when I was 12 or 13.
Is that the average age when people start getting into the sport?
I don't know. It could be earlier.
We
have, you have kids on bikes like real early, and you can start racing when you're, 9 or 10. But I would say that's kind of average to start. So I did my first bike race, loved it, and then it just kind of went from there.
How do you find the love for that? Like when most people, like for myself, when I played hockey, I knew I loved the sport when I scored my first goal. Like, so for mountain biking, how do you find out that you love it?
I don't know. Like, growing up, we spent a lot of time outdoors. To mountain bike, you get to do a lot of the same. So, riding a bike is it's inherently fun. Like you're outside, you're riding trails, you're hanging out with friends, that sort of thing. And then that competitive aspect like brought another level to it.
So you like that competitive aspect of it?
Totally, yeah. I mean, I love both.
Yeah.
But I might have won my first race. I'm not sure, but I might have, my first or second race, I got a feel for that.
Yeah.
And early on, I think I did quite well, and that kind of just gets the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. I think anything that you fall in love with at the age of 13 and you're still doing it. How old are you now? 27, 8?
28. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. All those years putting into your craft.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And now look at you, and names in the paper representing Canada on this stage.
Yeah.
That must be a proud moment for yourself, but also for your family as well.
Yeah, totally. It's, you get stuck. Sometimes you get stuck in, what you're doing. You get stuck in this like really high performance bubble that you're in, because all the people you're surrounded with are just these like superstars,
in your sport,
in my sport. So it is good to step back sometimes and just kind of look at, this is pretty awesome what I'm doing, and look how far I've come, that sort of thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever, I guess I want to know more about the competitive nature of mountain biking, because when I was looking at some of your pictures, I noticed that you were wearing the same jerseys as other people. So how does a team work on mountain biking? Are you an individual, or are you working with a team, I guess is my question.
So in mountain bike, there's not a whole lot, like once we're out on the track racing, there's not a whole lot your like teammates are going to be doing for you. It's more sort of behind the scenes, like you travel around together. You're on a team that has a few staff to take care of the team. You ride the same equipment. You might help each other out in training. Like learning courses, you'd, obviously spend a lot of time together, and that kind of support's important. And then, having good teammates to create a good team environment.
Yeah.
Just because, you're on the road a lot.
Are you?
Yeah, so it makes a difference.
I'm thinking of Tour de France right now, Tour de France, whatever.
Yeah.
When you're biking and there's a car coming beside you to hand you off like little packages of gel. Is there anything like that in mountain biking?
Totally, yeah. So,
but how do the cars get to you if you're in the middle of the woods, or how do?
So it's not from a car.
Okay.
Our race courses are like between 4 and 5 kilometers long. And then there'd be a spot that you might hit twice a lap where you have staff members in there ready to hand you a bottle, hand you any, maybe energy gels that you might need.
Okay.
And they also have equipment to help you fix your bike if anything goes wrong.
So sometimes you do have to stop mid-race.
Exactly. Yeah. So, flat tires, for example, there's, part of our sport, just like in F1, sometimes there's flat tires. So it's called the pit, kind of just like F1, and we just roll in there. You have your people in there. They'll try to get you in and out as quick as possible. Then you're like back racing.
Is that a frustrating feeling though, knowing that you have a flat tire and then there's other people getting ahead of you? Maybe you're leading in the race.
Yeah.
So it's an actual piss off when that happens.
Oh yeah, totally. That's, you want to avoid that. You need to, sometimes there's really just unlucky flat tires where it just kind of comes out of nowhere. Sometimes it's maybe a mistake you made. You're always kind of weighing, there's different lines that you might hit on the course, and maybe one has a sharp rock. And if you choose to hit that line and you puncture your tire, that's the way it goes.
Do you ever go through a practice run before you start?
Totally, yeah.
So what are you looking for when you go through this practice run?
Yeah, you want to look for, obviously, the fastest lines. You also want
What does that mean, the fastest lines?
Just, the fastest. Ultimately, it's a time sport. So, the fastest person around the course is going to win. So you want to find the fastest line that you can get through. I guess to explain a mountain bike course, it might be a meter wide, it might be half a meter wide, or there might be a really wide section where there's a bunch of different lines you can choose.
Okay.
So if you're riding your bike, maybe one of the lines is smoother than the other, but it's slower. Maybe one of the lines is a lot rougher, so thus riskier, but it's faster. So you're kind of weighing those options. And in the lead up to a race, we have, a few days on course to ride around, scope it out, figure out how we're going to ride it, how we're going to race it, and then send it on race day. So
there are times where you're going through the practice race not full speed, almost walking through it, just trying to...
Totally, yeah. So typical lead up to a major race is arrive a week before.
A week before?
A week before, yeah.
Wow.
Often part of that is to just learn the course. Another part of it is often we're traveling over to Europe to do these races. So just need to give yourself some time to get over jet lag.
Yeah.
But yeah, in those days leading up to the race, you're just learning the course and figuring it out. And, sometimes there's stuff that, they're called features, but technical aspects of the course that are quite challenging that you need to practice so that you're ready to hit them full gas in the race.
What's the diet like before a race, 24 hours? Is it a lot of oatmeal? Is it granola bars?
Yeah,
chicken?
I'm kind of boring. I pretty much eat oatmeal every morning.
Is there energy in oatmeal though?
Oh yeah, good to go.
Is there?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, especially if you add some maple syrup, lots of fruit, good to go.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What about liquids? Just pure water? You mix Gatorade?
Yeah, just like a better version of Gatorade. From various companies.
What about while you're riding though?
While you're racing, like a really high carb drink. That's what I do.
Okay.
So kind of like Gatorade, but way more sugar.
Oh, you want sugar, eh?
Yeah, you want a good mix of sugar and electrolytes, and that's kind of what works for me.
When it works when you're working on your cardio, do you ever mix it up and don't get on a bike? Do you ever run? Do you ever do anything else to almost mix up the cardio aspect of your body like that?
Yeah, a little bit. Mostly in the off season.
What's the off season for mountain bike?
Yeah, for the off season, probably beginning of October till. I mean, we started racing in second week of February this year, so kind of October to February.
It's a long season.
It is a long season for sure. But yeah, we do a little bit of running just to switch it up. Maybe a long hike, depending on what terrain you're on. Some people cross country ski in the winter. That's a really good workout. Yeah, I mean, we get to do a lot of hours of training. So, depending on the individual, they might want to switch it up and keep it fresh.
Yeah,
it's always good.
So I was looking also at some of your pictures, and there's fans at these events.
Totally.
I'm not trying to underplay what you do. I know it's a big deal, but I just never knew that there were fans at this, and there was people coming out to these events in the middle of the woods. They're setting up stands.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Are you on the pinnacle of Canadian? You must be if you're on the national team. When you're going to these events, are there people coming up to you asking for advice and things like this?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think a big part of my role as an athlete is to be a good role model. So I'm always available to, chat with anyone that wants to chat. But yeah, there are a lot of fans at these events.
It's crazy, the pictures that you're posting.
It's really cool. Like the racing in Europe, especially. We were just at one in Lenzerheide, Switzerland. I think the numbers for the weekend were like 33,000 people.
What?
And it was just, they were all dispersed throughout the woods. They bring cowbells. Sometimes they bring, they take the bars off of chainsaws and just run them as a noisemaker.
No way.
Yeah. And they're, always cheering for you. And yeah, it's awesome.
Would you say mountain biking is more popular in Europe than it is in Canada?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I primarily race the World Cup circuit. And there's 2 stops in North America. Maybe only one actually this year, but 1 or 2 stops in North America. And there's, 6 over in Europe. So
why is that, do you think?
It's, I'm not really sure. It is just kind of like a European-based sport.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool though. You get to go over to another part of the world and race. Especially, would you say Switzerland? You were just there?
Yeah, we were just in Switzerland.
That's come on. You
kidding
it's
pretty
me?
Sweet. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, we often get to be in pretty cool places in the mountains too. It's good. You
must have met a lot of people over your career around the world.
Yeah, for
sure. A lot of cool people.
Yeah, there's like I was saying earlier, this little bubble, it's like this traveling circus. You see all the same people.
Oh, it's the same people.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same people that you're racing against. But I've met people or, friends from New Zealand, Australia, all over Europe, that sort of thing.
I want to talk to you about the competitive side of the sport. When I think of Formula One racing, there's people that get cut off and then get pissed off. And is there anything like that in mountain bike racing?
Totally.
You just hate someone? Yeah.
I mean, imagine, so on the start line, we have, the biggest race I've been in. It was insane. There was 240 starters, and a regular World Cup is 120. So you have 120 people starting all together, all inches apart. The gun goes, everyone's racing for that first piece of single track, and it's going to funnel down to just one person wide. So there's going to be some contact. There's going to be some shit that goes down during that race. And especially that first little bit. So it's pretty wild, the start of these races. And then there'll be stuff that happens throughout the race, sometimes by accident, maybe sometimes purposeful. I'm not sure.
What's the key to getting off quick at these starts when everyone's around you?
Well, I mean, training it for sure.
How do you practice that though if you're only with like 6 people training?
Like just the physical training, I mean. So just like having good power so that you're able to just being strong, basically.
Okay.
It's like doing sprints, or like being able to, hockey, skate really fast for a short period of time.
Like a sprint. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like a sprint.
Yeah.
Because it starts from 0 to basically as hard as you can go.
For how long though?
Into the first single track, it might be like 1 or 2 minutes of like really high intensity stuff.
That's tough.
And then, I mean, it doesn't really settle down. So you need to be able to do that, then continue to go fast.
Wow.
But yeah, you can practice starts. I mean, we do a lot of work just practicing starts on your own. And then you just have to be kind of aware of your surroundings when you're in that big field. You want to, I often try to just look a few riders ahead off the start of these races, depending on the terrain and, how fast it is. Sometimes there's crashes. So you'll just see, you'll see on the left-hand side a bunch of guys going down, and you'll want to move to the right to just try to avoid that so you don't get caught up.
How long did you say these races are, the distance?
So it's not so much distance. The target race time is between 1 hour 20 and 1 hour 40.
What do you mean by that?
So I mean, every course we go to is different. It might be, a 12-minute lap, or it might be a 14-minute lap. So as the race organizers try to aim for somewhere in between 1 hour 20 to 1 hour 40, but they typically, let's call it 1 hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you race that one day, and then you start again the next day?
No.
Or just one day?
It's just a one-day race.
Okay.
One-day race. Hour 30. Everyone starts together.
Yeah.
Depending on the course, you're doing 6-7 laps.
And then there's prize money for the person that finishes first. Like how does it work in that aspect? It's like golfing, highest winner, most cash.
Yeah, there's lots of different things. I guess there's kind of there's like the one-day placing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in World Cup mountain biking. I'm not sure the prize money is actually like that good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get prize money maybe 10 deep.
Okay.
You also get it's called UCI points.
What's that?
UCI is the International Cycling Union. And UCI points count towards your world ranking. So yeah, and then that world ranking also helps determine your start position at these races.
Really?
So, if you do well at a race, we talked about the start there earlier, like 120 guys. If you're at the back of the 120 guys, you're going to have a tough time. If you're midway through or towards the front, you're going to have a better shot at doing a good result. So everyone is lined up based on their world ranking.
What's your world ranking?
I think it's, definitely top 100, maybe 80th, 70th right now, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the average age for these competitions? Like you ever see 35-year-olds, 40-year-olds out there?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, there's some older athletes. I mean, in the elite category, it's basically anyone 23 and older.
Okay.
I guess maybe peak age for our sport is, mid 30s, 33, 34.
Cool.
That sort of thing.
Throughout the distance of a race, is it your main objective? This could be a stupid question, but is it your main objective to always be in the lead, or is it almost nice to be in 5th place, 6th place, and looking at the guy in front setting the pace so you can stay with him?
Yeah, it really depends on the course, the competition, where you're at like a, at maybe a North American race for me. depending on the course, if it's a more tactical one where you might not be able to get away, or if the course isn't hard enough to kind of make a gap between you and the other riders, it might be more of a tactical battle where you're watching each other, testing each other.
How do you, sorry to cut you off, but how do you test another rider?
So this is fun, like trying to explain.
Why is it? All right, sorry. I need to know.
Totally. So like on a track, there's ups, downs, there's technical sections, there's smooth sections. The hardest section, or the hardest part of racing is definitely the climbing. It's harder to go uphill than it is to go downhill. So as a rider, you can create separation between you and the other riders by putting an effort in, or like increasing the speed on that hill. And then it's kind of like man to man. If you're stronger than the other person, you might get a gap, and then you might be able to like pull away. It kind of just depends on the racing. But yeah, ideally, if you can just stay out front the whole time, that's going to help you win the race.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
You said you just said a North American track compared to a European track.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I guess maybe I was more referring to the field, or like the track, the quality of the field. Like obviously, when we're at a World Cup in Europe, it's all the best people in the world.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot. There's a lot more guys out there, a lot more strong guys out there. So there's going to be tighter racing throughout. And in a North American race, it's going to be, maybe just different courses as well.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever talked to the number one guy in the world?
Maybe briefly. I think.
What's his name?
So there's a couple really good guys right now. There's one his name's Nino Schurter. He's from Switzerland.
Okay.
He's kind of won everything.
He's like the real deal.
He's the real deal. But we were in South Africa at a race, and we ended up just the day after the race, we ended up just on a little ride with him, which was super fun.
Yeah.
It's cool I think I might have said a word to him, but that's about it. I don't really know him like to go chat with him.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then there's another dude named Matthew Vanderpoel from the Netherlands. And he's kind of like this next level person.
How old is he? Young?
Yeah, he's young. He's like 22, but he's kind of like, he's really good. He's like one of the best in the world across disciplines.
What does that mean, disciplines?
So there's lots of different disciplines of cycling. So there's like, you were talking about the Tour de France, that's road cycling. There's something called cyclocross. There's what we're doing, mountain bike.
Oh, okay.
So this guy, Matthew Vanderpoel, is pretty much the best in the world across all three of these disciplines. Like he can win races.
Wow.
In all three. So that's really impressive. And he's definitely bringing the level of our sport up. Yeah.
So what's the difference between a guy that's number one, number two, to a guy that's, in the middle of the pack? Like, I'm sure you guys are all amazing. You guys are all on a world-class stage, but
yeah.
What's the difference between this number one guy and someone that's in the middle of the pack? Is it just...
That is a good question. If you'd probably have a lot of money if you could tell me what that difference is. Yeah, I mean, that's a tricky question. It's really hard to say. I think there's a huge mental aspect to our sport. Mental strength is huge. Obviously just like physical capacity. It is like very much a fitness-based sport. So there, the amount of training you do, and then, what you were given to start with.
What does that mean?
Just like, I guess just raw talent, I guess.
Okay.
I'm kind of like, I need to believe that, talent is kind of I think talent exists, but I think a lot of it is hard work.
Agree.
At least that's what I'm telling myself, because that's what I need to believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously it's a fitness-based sport. People have different capacities.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what the difference is.
That's fair, man. It's a tough.
Yeah.
I thought you were just going to say speed. He's just quicker.
Well, I mean,
that's the bottom line answer, isn't it?
Bottom line answer. That's
just
it.
Quicker.
Yeah, exactly. At these races, sometimes like start position makes a big difference. Like I was saying. Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that. This is a guy looking out, but like, I thought the guy that would be in first got to start last. It's like, all right, you're first, man. Relax. Go in the back or something. That was, I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a good setup.
The guy that sucks should be at the very front. Give him a head start or something.
You write to the UCI and you tell them your idea, and
I'll get the head guy on the podcast. We'll beef it out.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned the mental side of it, and I think mental side of sports is really cool, especially the past 10 years, how it's become more of a conversation and how athletes are finding an edge. Do you find it's harder to have a strong mental about your sport before or during the race? Because, when you're before a race, there must be a little anxiety going through you, like, okay, you got to do well. Or is it during the race where, okay, I got to get to first right now? Where's the hardest part for the mental aspect of your sport?
I think, I honestly think, like, kind of what you do every day and what you do in the lead up to a race is actually the most important. When you think about a race, it's an hour and a half long, and there's a bunch of other waking hours in the day. And I think, the mental side of things leading up to that race, in the hours before, the week before, is the most important. I think once you start the race, at least for me, if I'm on a good one, there's not a whole lot of thinking going on, and that's like the best case scenario. It's just kind of process and performance.
It's like second nature when you're actually racing.
Yeah.
It's like, I've done this my whole life.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, I guess the mental side of thing is getting to the start line in a position to execute that.
Are you on the bike every day training, or do you take a day off?
One day off a week, pretty much, but every other day on the bike.
So how does the training regimen work? You're not going balls to the wall every day.
No, exactly. A lot of it is actually quite easy riding.
Yeah.
And then a small percentage of it is really, really hard.
Let's talk about the hard stuff. What's the hard part of that?
Hard, so I guess like we do interval training, as like probably most sports do for conditioning.
Yeah.
So, we do intervals from 20 seconds long to 30 seconds long to 4 minutes long to 20 minutes long. So obviously probably like lower intensity as you get up to the longer amounts of time, obviously. But interval training, we do a lot of technical training, so just like learning to ride the bike better over the rough terrain.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously that pays huge. If you can go, if you can go 10 seconds faster over in one section of a course, that will add up to a lot of time over 7 laps. You know what I mean?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
What's your favorite course to ride on? Do you like dry mud? Do you like going rock? Do you like gravel? What's your favorite course?
Yeah, I mean, I like the wet conditions. You posted that photo of that gnarly
Well, that was
one,
a wicked photo.
Yeah, it was a sick photo.
So they don't cancel races if it's raining.
No.
You just go.
No, you just go.
Do you wear goggles?
We wear like sunglasses.
Even if it's raining?
Even if it's raining.
But how do you wipe them off?
Like clear lenses. In that race, I would have just tossed them once they got too...
Toss them?
Too muddy. I would have just tossed them to my guy in the feed zone or tech zone.
Oh, I thought you meant just like in the woods.
No. I wouldn't just ditch a pair.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't cancel races because of the rain. We just kind of go out there.
So do you kind of like the rain?
I do like the muddy races. It kind of makes it a bit of a little more wild, a little more open. I'm good. I'm really good a good technical rider and I'm good in those conditions, maybe compared to others.
Yeah.
So I like that. In terms of like my favorite course, it's probably the World Cup course in Mont Saint Anne.
Where's that?
So that's up in Quebec, just
cool.
outside Quebec City, Mont Saint Anne, and that's actually where World Championships are in less than 2 weeks now.
No way.
Yeah.
You must be pumped, or right now you're not pumped. You're like nervous now.
Well, no, I'm super excited. It's going to be awesome. Home World Championships, having World Championships in Canada is huge. I raced them. I did my first World Championships 9 years ago at Mont Saint Anne.
Wow.
And it was just an incredible experience. You at a World Championships, you race for your country. So you wear, a kit with the maple leaf on your back, and all the fans on the side of the track see that maple leaf and they just go nuts. It's insane. Like, there's one climb on that course where it was so loud you couldn't hear yourself think. It was wild.
What's the feeling wearing that maple leaf, man?
It's amazing, man.
Yeah.
It's giving me shivers right now, but yeah, it's amazing. Obviously I love Canada. I have a lot of pride for Canada. Every time I come home from away, I'm like, yeah, this is the place. So yeah, it's a real privilege, and yeah, looking forward to it.
How many people are on a mountain bike Canadian national team?
So I think we're bringing a pretty massive team to our home World Championships. I think I saw something like 70 athletes across 2 disciplines, so downhill mountain biking and cross country.
Okay.
And yeah, they're offering spots quite deep, or extra spots to people to use it as like a development process. Just to it's at home. It's logistically a little bit easier than say a European World Championships, and they get to do that. They get to experience that, like racing the best in the world at a World Championships, and that's gonna fuel their athletic career further.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What do you think your biggest strength is?
Biggest strength, definitely. I'm really good at training, I think. So, the training process, the off-season work, I love it. I have a ton of fun with it. I think I'm a really great technical rider and always trying to improve on that. And then the mental side of things is something that I would call it maybe an area of opportunity for me. I think I've been putting a lot of work into that.
Yeah.
And it's getting better and better. And I think sky's the limit there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever see the sport evolve? You've been in the sport for such a long time. Have you ever seen the sport evolve from where you started to where it is now? When I think about the game of hockey, the past 10 years, it's evolved, but your sport, anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. So the races have been getting faster and they've been getting shorter. When I started, races would probably be more like 2 hours long.
Okay.
We didn't really talk about this, but all the World Cup races are televised by Red Bull TV.
Sick.
So to do that well, they want a course where you can see the riders a lot of different times, right? So you can have some good coverage of the race. So that sort of TV coverage has helped shift our sport to be raced on shorter courses, have more technical features that are impressive to watch on TV. And that has, that's forced riders to adapt their training, adapt how they prepare for these races.
Has anyone ever asked you to put a GoPro on your bike for footage?
Yeah, I think, I've definitely done a few races with GoPros on just to,
But it was your choice.
It was my choice.
Okay.
I think we did have to sign something just like Racing World Cups saying that, you may be asked to put a GoPro on your bike. But I mean, they're doing that maybe for the front of the field, to just grab some of those angles. I think there's a real opportunity there to, increase the interaction between fans and the riders and just bring those different angles.
Definitely.
I mean, they could put GoPros on every bike and kind of tune into the different angles of the course.
Tuning your bike before a race, is that you, or do you have someone do it for you?
Luckily, we have someone on our team to do that for us.
Do you prefer that, or would you like to do it?
I much prefer someone else taking care of my bike. Yeah, we have some real professionals, some really good guys that take care of our bikes. They wash them, change tires for us, take care of everything. Like when we're at a race, the bike, we don't touch the bike. We just kind of have them take care of it. And it's not always been that way, obviously. Like, and still occasionally, very rarely actually, I'm taking care of my own bike at a race. But yeah, we're pretty lucky to have that good team behind us to
Well, hypothetical, you're in the middle of the race and the pit stop isn't another 5 minutes down the road and your chain falls off your bike.
Yeah.
Do you just put the chain back? That's you. You just put it back on.
Exactly. Yeah. So we do have to have a pretty good understanding of the technical aspects of the bike, because in a pinch, we have to fix it.
But what if, another hypothetical, let's say your tire pops and you're 5 minutes away. How do you get there? You got to run with the bike?
Yeah, you could run with the bike. You could ride the flat tire, which is slower, but still possible. It's more challenging to do, obviously. You don't have as much control. You could carry stuff to fix it, but then it's kind of like you're carrying more weight around, which, might slow you down a bit. So it's kind of weighing those options. There's on each course, there's probably some unlucky places to get a flat tire where you are like maybe the furthest away from that help in the tech zone. But typically there's 2 places to get help a lap. So you're never really too far away.
Can you give me a story about maybe something like that happened to you during a race?
Yeah, earlier this year at National Championships, actually, just outside Barrie, Ontario. I was in the top 3, having an awesome ride, and just this really odd flat tire just going around a corner, and boom, flat tire. And then, I mean, at that point, especially when you're having a good ride, it's like, it's challenging. It's, you're kind of the race as you expected it to unfold, or as you maybe saw it unfolding, is kind of over. And then you kind of need to shift your perspective and say like, okay, this is what I'm working with now. I'm going to ride this tire to the tech zone. And yeah, that's kind of what you had to do. I was real far away when this happened.
Yeah. That's so frustrating.
So it ended up being a really long ride and run to the tech zone, but I just kept going because, that's just in my nature. I didn't want to quit. And then I got it replaced, and then kept riding. But, I was kind of out of contention at that point, but kept her going anyways.
Man, that must be the most frustrating feeling.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like in hockey, is there any technical things that can happen? Like you break a stick.
Skates, break a blade.
But
then you just you miss a shift, worst case scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
But like being in the lead, and that's more frustrating than breaking a blade.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's an individual sport. Like it's you against everybody.
Yeah, totally. Oh. Yeah. And if you break a stick, you stay out there for a bit, and then you just go get a new one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, man, that's cool though. It adds an element of, I don't want to say luck, but it just adds an element of something to the sport. If you can be in first and you can be ahead, but something like that happens, you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just it's cool.
Yeah. And part of being like a good athlete and a good mountain biker is being able to take care of your equipment out there. So like, riding smoothly so that you don't get these flat tires, or, shifting smoothly so that maybe your chain doesn't fall off. Like it's all part of it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I noticed that you're all scraped up and shit. Like dude.
Yeah.
Have you like flipped over your handlebars in the past couple of months?
Yeah, no, just on Sunday at a bike race down in Kentville, actually, I had a pretty gnarly crash.
What happened?
Just, slipped out on a route going downhill pretty quick into the bushes, into the trees.
Man.
My eyewear flew off, and then you just kind of jump back on as quickly as possible and then keep her going.
Have you ever broken I don't want to knock on wood knock wood, but has anything ever happened?
Nothing major from biking, mostly just other stuff growing up. Like broken bones were just a few growing up, but nothing major from biking.
That must be part of the sport, is just coming home with like a big scrape on your leg. I couldn't imagine how many times in your career that you've just left a race bloody.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, or just continued racing with all the blood over you, it's just
part of
it. You just roll with it.
Have you seen some bad injuries from other guys? You must have seen something.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any specifics. I try to like forget that stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Advice for people trying to get involved into the sport. Maybe something that you learned throughout your career that you could give advice to a 13-year-old right now.
Yeah, I mean, I started racing at this short track series that's held over in Seaview Park, in the North End there, put on by Cyclesmith, the bike shop in town. And I mean, that's where I started. And, it's like a weeknight thing. It's just like a 20, 30-minute race, super fun. There's lots of other kids around. Like that's one place to start. And then there's all these, skate parks or dirt jumps or pump tracks popping up in different communities around the province.
Yeah.
And I think just playing around on bikes is that's also where I started, like growing up, riding with my brothers and just doing that sort of thing. And it all kind of helps develop those skills, and it's a whole lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Yeah.
I just want to try it.
Yeah, for sure.
We got a cottage out in Bridgewater and there's trails out there. I don't have a bike. That's the problem. I got to I have a bike, but without shocks.
Yeah.
So that would obviously suck.
Yeah. You need to update that.
Yeah, I know. I do. But I like the long distance. Do you like that stuff? Like on the road?
Yeah, exactly. We spend a lot of time training on the road.
Do you?
This morning I went for a 3-hour road ride.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
3 hours.
3 hours.
Is that like not a big deal to you? Oh, Jesus,
not
man.
a big deal for us.
So where'd you go?
Around Peggy's Cove. So just out to Tantallon, past Peggy's Cove and back into the city.
What time did you go?
I might have left just before 8, something like that. Took about 3 hours.
Yeah, you say that like it's not a big deal to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal.
I guess your cardio's on point right now. You can just do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all. Yeah, we're in good shape for sure.
How many people did you go with?
I just went solo.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you put music in?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I didn't this morning. I just kind of rolled with it. It was a nice morning, and yeah.
So do you do that for pleasure or for training or both?
No, that's for training. That's prep for the upcoming races.
So that's what you're talking about. Like you're good at training. You're
yeah,
just good
exactly.
at it.
I enjoy it. It's like the best part.
It's a cool province, I'd imagine, to train for biking. You're on the water most of the time.
Yeah.
I think the highways are pretty good here for biking.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, there's always a few motorists that aren't keen to have you out on the roads, but I mean, for the most part, this morning, no real close calls, and everyone was pretty, gave me some space, so that's good.
Is that the key to like go early in the morning when the roads aren't as busy, or it's just you just want to get it out of the way type thing?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good strategy, going early before everyone's busy, or just picking roads that, aren't too busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do your knees ever get... Like I run, I don't really bike. I run a lot. My knees sometimes get sore, but do your knees ever get sore from biking?
Not really. It's a lot lower impact than running.
That's why I want to try,
Yeah, I think a lot of people blow their knees out running if you do it enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, cycling's a great not alternative, but like supplement to that.
Yeah. I want to try it.
And it's pretty sweet, like to be able to go 100 kilometers in 3 hours, like that's pretty awesome. You get to see a whole lot more than, if you went for a 100K run, you'd be out there for a while.
I thought you were going to pull up here on a bike today.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I just finished the ride like kind of late, and I just had to book it over here in the.
That's
in the
fair.
truck. Yeah.
So how do you got a place here? You said you're traveling a bunch.
No, we are, myself and my fiance. We do this together. Actually, we're on the same team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Go, congrats, fiance. That's awesome.
Totally.
Man. Good for you.
Yeah. We're really lucky we do this together, but we're pretty much out of a suitcase, 10 months a year.
No way.
Never really in one place for more than 2 weeks. It's awesome. And the fact that we get to do it together makes it great and possible. But yeah, we don't really live anywhere. My parents are here. Her parents are in Uxbridge, just outside of Toronto.
Okay.
In Ontario. So we spend some time here in Nova Scotia. We spend some time there. We spend quite a bit of time in Victoria on the West Coast.
Love Victoria.
Yeah. Beautiful city.
Yeah.
And then the rest is kind of on the road, training camps, racing, that sort of thing.
And you wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have more of a steady base.
Would you?
Like it would be nice. I think it definitely, all that travel definitely wears on you.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like the nature of the sport. Like in the winter, we kind of have to chase that good weather. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we spend time in Victoria. We love Canada, and that's one place in Canada where you can ride year round. It's pretty wet sometimes.
It just rains all the time. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
That's cool, man. Yeah. Well, it seems like you're living a really cool life.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm stoked on it. Gonna keep her going for as long as I can, and we'll see what happens.
Awesome, man. Well, Andrew, thank you for coming on, man.
Cool.
I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man.
Everyone that's listening, thank you very much. Go to all of our social media outlets, like, subscribe, comment, YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, SoundCloud. I think I got them all. We're out, guys. Peace.